Hello there, guys, and welcome back to That Anxious Gamer. Today, I'm going to be talking about a very interesting topic to myself, which is the Dark Horse of Stormgate. I'm talking about a professional player that was one of the bourgeois of SC2 and that was actually banned for match fixing. Without any further ado, I'm going to tell you who the Dark Horse of Stormgate is going to be, and that is Life. For those of you guys that have been playing or watching StarCraft 2 since the Wings of Liberty era or the Heart of the Swarm, so either Wings of Liberty or Heart of the Swarm, you'll definitely have remembered Life. This guy was a basically a BlizzCon World Champion. This guy was a two-time GSL champion. One of the first, I believe he was the first Royal Roader in the GSL. And I mean, this guy was, in my opinion, still to this day, and this is not taken away from Sarah Rogue, but in my opinion, I believe Life was the best Zerg player that has ever played the game of StarCraft 2. I mean, I have people that I really respect, like Sue, like Rogue. I mean, there's so many others. There's great Zerg players, but in my opinion, peak StarCraft 2 occurred between the years of about 2013 and about 2016. That was basically the end of Wings, basically all of HOTS, and going into the first basically start of Legacy of the Void. That was when the game was really developed. It wasn't like at the beginning of Liberty where, you know, Wings of Liberty at the beginning was a mess and it was just like everybody was just learning the game. Nobody knew what was going on. But in Heart of the Swarm, guys, we had some of the best matches. We still had KeSPA going on, guys. And KeSPA, for those of you that don't know, was a Korean Esports Association that basically had people training in group houses to play in Pro League and other group events like this. It was very popular back in the Brood War days and then transitioned to SC2. So why do I feel like Life would be a perfect addition to Stormgate, and why do I want to see him return to competitive play? Well, to explain this, guys, you got to learn a little bit about the history of StarCraft 2 and what happened. So a lot of people, it's very fair, I think, to say that Life is the most hated player in StarCraft 2 history. The reason is because he was convicted, as far as I know, in Korean court of match fixing. So him, I believe his coach and several other players, I guess, agreed to lose matches for a set sum of money. Obviously, this is a terrible thing, guys. I'm not trying to say it isn't. However, I believe he was between the years of maybe like 16 or 17 at that time. So, I mean, he was a kid, guys. He was under 18. So I think that's definitely extenuating circumstances. I definitely don't think that he should have suffered a lifelong ban from StarCraft 2, which is what happened. He did go to, I believe he either went to jail or was on probation for several years for this and had to pay a huge monetary fine. So, you know, he paid his debt to society. He definitely paid for his mistakes, which, like I said, were significant mistakes. But this guy was an absolute bourgeois. He was a child prodigy of the game. I still remember when he actually won his first GSL. The guy was 15 years old. I believe in StarCraft 2 and Brood War history, the only person that won a major, like, premier event younger than him was Flash. I believe that was like 2008 OSL or something like that. But I mean, this guy was literally one of the best players to ever play StarCraft 2. And, you know, in my opinion, guys, I don't think, especially if it's not like, you know, murder or rape or something, you shouldn't be punished for something that you did as a child for the rest of your life. I always felt that Life got a ridiculous and over the top punishment. I do think what he did was bad, but what I'm going to be talking about a little bit here is what made him great and why I feel that a lot of the charges that were levied against him were not fair. And what was the charges that were levied against him? Well, of course, match fixing, which he was convicted for, and I do believe he was guilty. I think he even admitted to the fact that he was guilty, along with his coach, which was kind of a sordid affair in of itself. But mainly, guys, the thing that Life, why he is so hated, is because, like Savior in Brood War, he is deemed as like the destroyer of KeSPA, and what a major factor of what caused the game to spiral downhill, which I feel is not the case, guys. I think this is ridiculous to just say that one person match fixing or a group of people match fixing will destroy an esport is not realistic, guys. There's been match fixing scandals in other major sports, and they're running just fine today. So it's definitely not due to life that KeSPA failed or that, the Korean esports scene shifted away from SC2. If you look at what Tasteless has said and what other major commentators have said, is they said that a lot of the reasons that actually why KeSPA broke up is that young men no longer wanted to live in group houses. Streaming became popular, so there was actually a revenue source to actually make money. Just if you were a very good player, you could stream and make money. So you could rent your own apartment and stream and make money. However, in my opinion, I think that StarCraft was at its peak in the years of 2013 to 2016. And I think KeSPA was a big reason why. For those of you that didn't watch SC2 back then, a foreigner winning or really defeating a major Korean wasn't a thing. Nobody was doing it. The Koreans were basically had a complete lock on the SC2 ecosystem. And, people now like Sil and a lot of the other ones, Rainer, a lot of the younger players, they really only became successful, guys, after KeSPA fell. And it's really debatable whether they would have been successful or as successful if KeSPA had continued going. Because obviously they're amazing players. I think they would have been successful. They would have been champions in some right. But KeSPA falling definitely equalized the scales a lot and put Europe in a much more competitive position versus Korea. So why should life come back in Stormgate? Well, I think he's paid his debt to society. I looked up his age. He was born in 1997. So he's 26 years old now, going to be going on 27. I think that it's time for him to make a return. He was an absolute bourgeois and an amazing player, one of the best Ling Muta Bane micros in the game, in my opinion. And I think was one of the major bourgeois, along with Maru, of being these super, super young players that was amazingly successful, even at a very young age. And I mean, at 26, guys, he could be an absolute champion in Stormgate. So, what I was talking about in the last video, guys, about Frostgiant and Stormgate not kind of following in Blizzard's footsteps and why I feel they are following in Blizzard's footsteps. It would be so good to see life come back and actually, okay, he's paid his debt to society. What he did was wrong. Now we're wiping the slate clean. Wouldn't it be amazing to have a redemption song, to actually have a redemption of, this one of the most infamous players ever in StarCraft 2 history in Stormgate? I think it would, guys. I have a lot more videos to talk about this, about like the top 5 pros that I would love to see coming about in Stormgate. So ones that were storied in either Warcraft 3 or StarCraft 2 or other RTS games. But yeah, this is what this whole video was about, guys. I think that life, I just remember the emotions of watching him, and he was one of my very favorite players back in those days. And even though I do believe what he did was wrong, and I do believe it had a negative impact on Korean esports, it did not cause the decline single-handedly of KeSPA. And I think a lot of other pros hate for life, even though I do think what he did was dishonest and was, not good from a competitive standpoint. I think a lot of pros have judged him very unfairly. I think that, what you did as a young adult is, maybe you made mistakes and you paid for those mistakes, and we should have a clean slate going into Stormgate. It would be amazing to see him back. He would be an amazing Dark Horse, and just to see him take a championship and to kind of have a redemption and to really see, that whole story kind of go full circle, which would be just amazing, guys. So that's what I would love to see. Tell me your Dark Horse in the comments. Who do you want to see back in Stormgate that may be like Flute Dealer or something? Somebody that was big in StarCraft 2 or other RTS games at one point. They faded out of the limelight, or maybe they got banned or something happened, and you want to see them back in Stormgate. So definitely hit the sub, hit the like for this video, guys. I'll be making a lot more Stormgate content. I can see that you guys love it. You guys are liking it, loving it. I love making it, guys. I'm so passionate about this. I was thinking about this video the whole day. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Again, hit the like, hit the sub, and I'll see you guys in the next one.